Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Nashville. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Bueller. And I see Brian Eason in the middle there. I once flew to a pro tour with him and Michael Majors. They were sitting next to me and I thought, God, these guys kind of look like they might be Magic players. And they eventually busted out decks and I ended up getting to chat with them. Of course, he's playing against Brad Nelson.
Yeah, it actually looks like we're going to be on the Obzon mirror here. Kind of one of the first checks everybody does in their sealed is to see, do I have the Black-White Warriors deck? The Black-White Warriors deck is one of the best two-color aggro decks you can get. I mean, and Brad's got a little bit of that, right? He's got a Chief of the Edge, you know, he's playing his Disowned Ancestors, but he's also gone, you know, one of the problems with the Warrior deck is that Aniak Bonkin is not a Warrior, but he's your awesome 2-drop. So you wind up often with an Obzon deck, like this one has a Dune Blast.
Oh, jeez.
That's the kind of gold card, you open a Dune Blast and you're like, all right, we're playing this somewhere. It's just a question of where.
So Brian Eason takes the damage from the Bonkin as he should. He's not going to start chump blocking at this point, but that's going to clear the way for Mardu Horde Chief to get in there with Raid and make a 1/1 warrior
not a
which
goblin.
looks like a goblin, but it's actually not, and it could be important, so we'll make sure we get a warrior, and there it is. That looks like a soldier, but anyway, we'll get that sorted. Meanwhile, Longshot Squad joins the team here for Brian Eason. Like I said, Brian is a Pro Tour level player. He's played in a few Pro Tours in his day.
He's a lot heavier green than Brad is. Looks like he's black-green with just a touch of white for Obzon guides. Oh my God, they both have a Dune Blast.
No way.
They both have a Dune Blast. Yeah, this is kind of the toughness deck. Kintry Invocation, you know, a couple of Archer Parapets.
I like it.
Yeah, Brian Eason's black-green with a touch of white. Brad is black-white with a touch of green. So they're pulling from the same clan from a 3-color gold card point of view, but pretty different takes on the format. Brad's the beatdown.
Now, interesting. I see that Brad's got an Obzon Charm in his hand. I don't think he has the mana to cast it in his hand though. Yeah, he's gonna have to settle for a morph, and I think he's gonna miss his land drop here. He could get in with the Bonkin here if he wants to
See that
offer
trick
a trade.
Brad does there? He took the morph physically out of the sleeve. That way, he's in no danger of shuffling it back into his deck without revealing it.
Yeah, the Ari Lax maneuver. Although I don't remember where Ari said he learned it from. But
yeah, I read it in Ari Lax's article.
Was it Nasif or somebody? Yeah, so he saw somebody do it and he said, "That's genius," and started doing it himself.
It's just a reminder to reveal your morphs at the end of the game.
I love that.
It's not in the sleeve. You'll know something weird's going on.
You're like, wait,
You're
why
like,
is this?
Right.
Oh, here.
Of course, I need to reveal this.
Now, interestingly here, Randy, Brian Eason just drew Dune Blast. So now does his game plan completely change around here? Now, this looks like an Obzon guide. I think if I'm Brad, if I'm going to block, I'm blocking assuming that this is an Obzon guide. 5 mana.
And he's attacking into your 3-power first striker.
He's just jamming it right in there like it's nothing.
There's not a good block if it's... Well, I guess you could block with the Morph and the Horde Chief.
You could just block with everything if you really wanted to get rid of it.
Well, I mean, if it's Obzon Guide and you put 4/5 in front of it, it's a pretty solid block. I like that block. Especially, you can't afford to not block, I think, and just take it when you've got that little many. He's going to throw a token in just to be safe.
Could throw a token. That he would lose the token. Like, basically, any 2 of these creatures could die, but if it's the only first 2, then only one of them could die if it is a...
Well, Obzon Guide can now take out the 2/3 and the 1/1.
Right, and if you only put the 2/2 and the 2/3 in front, then only one would die. So
right. The soldier is a hedge against what else it might be.
That's right. Now, one thing that Brian can do here, though, is he could also just say, sure, I'll put the morph first, and they're just going to trade. And he just trades his morph for Brad Nelson's morph. You know, in the case that it's maybe it's 3/6, the War Behemoth. Which would actually be really good here, wouldn't it? Yeah, I think that's what it is now. No, it is a guide. Okay. Original read correct. He's going to take down the morph and the soldier and leave him with the Horde Chief. Let's see what that morph was. It was his own Obzon guide, but since he's
nowhere close,
at least 2 mana away from being able to do it, and he needs another color as well, he's fine just getting a big trade in there. Also, you know, we use the term time walk, you know, to signify a massive tempo loss.
Forcing your opponent to flip their morph does cost them their turn. Yeah, he basically spent 5 mana to kill a soldier and gain 4 life.
Yeah, he killed the...
He could have killed the morph by not spending the mana.
Sure.
Right, all he got for spending the 5 mana was 4 life and a dead soldier.
Yeah.
I mean, depends what else is in my hand, but
That's interesting.
It's a lot of mana to spend when all you're getting extra is that soldier.
So Nelson looks like he's found a swamp here. So now all of a sudden he's in business. Like he can crack for 5 here if he wants to get really aggressive. He also can jam in there for 3 damage, basically for free. Oh, hello.
Or you can play Sorin.
Wow. Play Sorin, he
Plus.
plussed Sorin, so that's going to let him leave the Mardu Horde Chief back to block and even trade with the long shot squad.
Right.
And it's going to get him an extra point of damage coming through with the Enoch Bonkin.
Not to mention 4 life.
And 4 life. Wow. Is that a good card?
Seems like a good card.
Jeez. Another Abzan guide off the top there for Brian Eason.
Dune Blast doesn't really answer Sorin.
No. Now it can, like if you leave yourself with 1 big creature and then you get to clear everything out and then attack Sorin, it'll work out fine.
That's a trade. I'm not sure Brian realized that +1 ability lasts until the beginning of your next turn.
And so Brad can't wait to get that Mardu Horde Chief in the graveyard and get that life total written down.
Oh yeah.
And unfortunately here for Eason, he's going to have to just follow up with his own Abzan guide, but this is going to get interesting because both players actually have their Dune Blast in hand.
Smite the Monstrous.
Oh, Smite the Monstrous, okay. Yeah, Brad isn't planning on casting that Dune Blast anytime soon. He's got 5, but he needs 2 more land drops, and he needs to actually draw the lands to do it. I don't think he's got them in his hand, so, you know, we're talking 4 turns away.
The fact that he's
Maybe
plussing
5.
his Sorin, though, does make it a lot harder for Brian to set up a, Dune Blast to sweep the board and then attack you with my 1 leftover guy.
Sure. I mean, especially because Brad could just decide to ultimate.
Could.
Which really gets interesting. I wonder if you just do that. Like, how the heck does Brian Eason beat an ultimate from Sorin?
Wait a turn, you can keep it.
He's going to rock Shasa's Secret. Is he going to show him the Dune Blast here since he's so far away from casting it? Wouldn't it be funny if Brian looks at his own? No, he doesn't. So he ditches the Abzan Charm and the Merrick Nightblade.
Huh.
Interesting. Brad wants a long-term backup plan here?
What's the touch of blue in this deck for? Brian's showing off a touch of blue. Oh, there's a Sultai Soothsayer in his deck. And a Sultai Banner to go help get the blue mana.
Huh.
And a Treasure Cruise.
Must have had a nearly free blue splash. So I think that Brad's actually consulting with his teammates here about,
should I ultimate?
Yeah, like if I ultimate, how does he beat me? You know, they start thinking about like take-up arms or cards that, you know, at least have some game against it, but really there's nothing great.
Yeah.
He's going to get a little, I mean, greedy's not the right word, but a little ambitious here and just go ahead and keep plussing.
What are the odds that Sorin gets killed here, though?
Very, very low. Very low.
And then you just get to keep Sorin around.
It's true. It's so difficult to take Sorin with the colors that Brian Eason's playing here. All right, what does he have? A Bitter Revelation. He's going to get close here.
Yeah, this is a little scary.
Yeah, this is a little scary because remember,
This is 10
he's
going
working
down
up
to
to a
8.
Dune Blast. You can wipe the board with Dune Blast. You don't have to leave a creature back, so anything that Brad has, but he's going to take a big hit here. What is he taking here? 3, 4, 5,
8,
6,
right?
7?
7. 3 plus 2 plus 2.
Yeah, which is...
And he's at 8, so...
Oh, he's at 8 from the Bitter Revelation, so he'd go to 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's going to have to burn a
Debilitating
debilitating
injury,
to kill the bigger Bonkin, and that Dune Blast is not looking amazing. He's also got a Kintree Invocation in his hand, but it doesn't do anything. Next turn, though, he can play Longshot Squad and the Invocation to get 2 3/3s. But I think we're going to see Sorin get a little nasty here for Brad Nelson. It just feels like, how does he lose? There's no creatures on Brian Eason's side of the table, and Brad is at 35. Like, what in the heck can he come up with? It's going to get around having to sacrifice a creature on his upkeep every single turn. Like, even if he makes a bunch of tokens, he can't get Brad from 35 to nothing with that. Do it. It just feels like it would buy Brad all the time he needed to just rebuild his board and eventually whittle Brian Eason down. Yeah, there we go. There's an emblem. And he's going to go ahead and just level up his Bonkin as opposed to attacking this turn. And Brad remembers his trigger, even though it doesn't apply in this case. He is going to need to make sure that he reminds his opponent every upkeep, sacrifice a creature. All right. Turn gets passed back to Brad with no play here from Eason because he could play long shot squad and then just have it die in his upkeep, basically allowing to chump for one turn. I mean, my guess is that Brian Eason's just drawing dead here, right? Like, I can't imagine. Randy, I want you to go deep into this deck list and find me a win here.
Well, whatever it is, it involves building up a handful of creatures and then deploying them all at the same time.
Yeah, so like playing 3 to 4 creatures in a turn.
A couple of Disowned Ancestors, a couple of Archer's Parapets. Those are cheap ones that you can feed to Sorin for a while.
Okay. In the meantime, Krumar Bonkin comes down. Sorin begins ticking upwards, and Enoch Bonkin gets in there for 4 damage. This game shall be over soon. Brian Eason has some great stuff. He's going to be able to wipe the board here if he wants.
Once.
But yeah, it's just up to Brad and then just find anything.
Yeah, it's tough.
He's not even going to show him.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I actually agree with that.
I agree with that too.
Showing your opponent that your odds of winning that game through a Sorin Emblem are so small that you're better off just not showing him the Dune Blast and keeping it a surprise for a future game.
That's right. Get a look at our feature area. You see Jacob Van Lunen with his slick new haircut. He said he told his hairdresser, express yourself artistically.
Really?
Yeah, that's what his instruction was. Just go for it.
Wow.
And Zach Hill, normally in the booth sitting with us, but it's battle time for Zach here. He is down in the feature match area, and he is deep in thought here. Zach is a really cerebral player when he plays. Like, he's super intense, doesn't chat at all.
I know Brian David Marshall would like this deck. It's got a Trail of Mystery in it.
Oh, it does?
Oh, yeah.
Where are you at on that card?
I think it's good.
How early? Like, do you first pick it? Like, if it's just pack one, pick one, are you like, we're doing it, kids?
Depends on the pack.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you...
Like, would you take it over an Obzon guide?
Yeah, I would. I don't like the 3-color morphs all that much.
Okay.
That was quick.
That was a quick one right there. I don't know who won.
I think Zach won because I think the life totals were updated in time.
Okay. And it did seem unlikely for Vince to get 15 damage in there, so probably Zach with the win there. Yeah, it looks like we've updated that. So why don't we jump over to Michael Kwan versus Jacob Van Lunen now. And wow, JVL off to a quick one here. I know he likes his blue-red deck.
He is Jeskai.
Wow. He's got 1 plane sitting there, but 2 blue cards in the yard and 4 blue and or red cards on the battlefield. And he looks like he's putting a thumping on Michael Kwan here, who is at 1? Well, that can't be good.
Now look at all the creatures that are turned sideways, though. That one looks accurate.
And
Savage Knuckleblade, not good enough.
Our streak continues. We show up and the game ends. So Jacob Van Lunen looks like he's picked up his game for his team. And that's going to put us into triple shuffle mode. Hopefully we don't find ourselves in this spot too often throughout the course of the weekend, but we'll get it here. That's okay. We get to watch the players play.
I like Jacob's Jeskai deck. He's got 6 dual lands, including a Mystic Monastery to try to make the mana work.
Okay.
So that he can get away with a white splash for an Alabaster Kirin and a Seeker of the Way, which is absolutely got to be the best 2-drop in Limited in this format. Right?
That's insane. The Seeker of the
Way?
Way?
So good.
I don't, what about, this is a mentality question,
Okay.
I think. Heir of the Wilds.
No, Seeker's way better.
I like Heir better.
I mean, really?
Yeah, because Heir attack's great. Like, you can just jam it through much bigger stuff.
But I can trade it for, I can block it with anything. Like, I can just trade my morph for it.
Sure,
whatever.
But that was only the first half of my point.
Okay.
It blocks better than basically anything in the format. You can block morphs and be like, sure, flip it up. I don't care. Doesn't matter.
You know
now,
what ability?
You get a Seeker of the Way on turn 7, and you're not that happy.
You know what ability's really good in Limited?
What's that?
Lifelink.
Yes, that's true.
Lifelink is so good in Limited Magic.
Right, I'm taking Death Touch over Lifelink.
Really?
Absolutely. 100%. Ruthless Ripper for life.
On a 3-power guy? I mean, Seeker of the Way is effectively a 3-power lifelinker for 2 mana.
It can be. In Limited, it's less so. I mean, you know, normally you're still running somewhere in the 15 creature range, which is going to leave you 8.
The Jeskai decks. Arc Lightning, Arrow Storm, couple of Bringlows.
Yeah, I'm
Winter
on
Flame, yeah, this deck
Oh, there's a
fun.
Winter Flame for Jacob?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's playing Narset too. Where are you on Narset?
I'm low on Narset.
Me too. Like,
not a big
decking
fan.
yourself is a real thing.
Yeah, there absolutely becomes a point where you can't attack. And again, going back to like what I was saying, 15 creatures, 8, 9. So let's say we go down to 13. You know, that puts you up to either 10 or sometimes 9 if you're running 18 lands, non-creature spells. So Narset, you know, maybe gets 1 per hit, maybe 2.
Maybe, yeah.
And if you attack a couple times, you can't anymore. Oh, you can whiff.
You can whiff and you can deck yourself.
Yeah, you just go land, creature. That happens all the time.
I feel like it should be bigger. It's like 6 mana, 3/2.
Yeah. First strike, hexproof. I don't know. I don't like it either.
I have another card in Jacob's deck I bet you will like, though.
What's that?
Where are you on Dig Through Time?
I'm very high on Dig Through Time.
Okay.
Can't deck yourself with that one.
Me too.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, no, the Jeskai deck looks pretty solid.
That's a nice top end too for an aggro deck that's looking to kind of just dump its hand, trade off some
Right,
stuff.
and with a bunch of burn to like
it's
find
got
the
burn,
finisher.
too? Does it have Jeskai Charm?
It's got an Arrow Storm.
Okay, that's good.
The gold cards are a Freet Weapon Master, High Spire Mantis, Master of the Way. It's got a Mind Swipe.
Oh, and a Mind Swipe.
Yeah, you leave up Mind Swipe.
I love
You
Mind
can
Swipe.
end a lot of games with Mind Swipe.
Mind Swipe is hilarious. Mind Swipe makes you sometimes, your opponent, it's better for them to not play spells. Which is really funny.
Yeah. They never know that, though. You
They
can't play
never
around
know.
Mind Swipe.
They
It's rare.
always throw that 2-drop. It's just like the turn 8 smoke teller or something that gets them. Take 9. Where if they wouldn't have played anything, they just would have won.
Yeah, so Jacob is blue-red with a touch of white, basically Jeskai. Brad is black-white with a touch of green, basically Abzan.
Okay.
And then Zach is green-blue. Makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. That's a nice distribution.
Right. Green-blue with a touch of green. Sorry, green-blue with just a touch of red. A couple Snowhorn Riders.
All right, let's take a look at Zach Hill here. He's now underway with this green-blue list. And there's a Leaping Master to kick things off for Vince. And what is Zach up to on his turn 2? He consulted with Brad about whether he should keep this hand, Randy, and Brad said, yeah, keep it. Which usually means it's a tweener, right? Like Zach obviously knows what an easy mulligan looks like.
Face up, Ice Feather Aven.
So he's looking to block. We saw this in the first round, face up Ice Feather Aven against this exact card, a Leaping Master. It did not block.
Sometimes it means you want to beat down.
It's true, especially
on turn 2.
Yeah, especially if Zach has some defensive spell to follow up, then he's looking to fly over and just start beating down. Because Ice Feather Raven can do such a better job at beating down than Leaping Master just because of the mana commitment. Yeah, it looks like Zach's going to play something defensive on his turn. It could be a morph. It could be a wall of some sort. He found a Force Away. Meanwhile, beat down. Now let's see what he's got. Morph would be, of course, the most typical play for the format. And would be pretty good here, actually. Ooh, that's a nice one, too. Tuskguard Captain. Zach Hill definitely looking to beat down here. I think his next play is going to be like Morph, put a counter on it, or beat down. He's got a Monastery Flock in his hand. He can follow up with another Morph. Wow, Zach has a lot of great options. He's got a Woolly Loxodon,
You said
too.
this hand was a tweener. Did he look over to
It might have been
Brad
a land
on a
situation.
bluff? Could have been a bluff.
Could have been, too.
My hand is amazing. Let me consult my teammate and see if he thinks maybe I should mulligan.
That could have been. Because this hand looks sweet. I didn't see what it did look like as what it looked like as a 7. Like maybe it was a 2-lander.
Right.
You know, with all these morphs and an Ice Feather Raven.
Those guys are totally capable of giving off a false tell.
Oh yes. Yeah, I would not. If they talk to each other, I ignore. I am not making any plays based on that. There's some teams that you play against where you're just like, geez, guys, we're right here. You're just telling us your play. But this team is not one that I would be looking to leverage that kind of info.
I was listening to a story about Brad Nelson at a previous team event where his teammate was essentially running a bluff, representing a card that he didn't have. And Brad figured out that his teammate's opponent was asking Brad's opponent for advice, and Brad knew his opponent was good enough to figure it out. So Brad made some crazy, convoluted, terrible attack got like 4 attackers in, but left the 4-drop black just to force his opponent to go into the tank and figure out what Brad was up to.
Oh, that's fantastic.
To distract the opponent from helping helping the other match.
All right, so meanwhile, Vince decided that the right play here was to jam in there with his Leaping Master, have it not get blocked, or excuse me, have it get blocked, but then have the follow-up play be the Mardu Heartpiercer to take down the Ice Feather Aven. So he's left himself with a 2-3, but minus a creature on the other side, but he had to give up a creature to do it. Doesn't seem unreasonable here.
Raid
now, if Zach
makes...
takes that damage, then that play looks great from Vince. Right
True.
now he still gets to keep his creature, but Zach had nothing. So it did look like maybe it was a 3-land or a 2-land hand, which was the deciding point. He's just going to play Monastery Flock.
Face up.
Face up. No attack, obviously, so ship the turn back. And Zach is basically now going to try to gear this game to go long. Like, he feels like with the 5 spells he's got in his hand, he can win this game. And he needs to just find lands and sort of slow down his opponent. Now, interesting here, Vince, he does have a Jeskai Charm, which he can use to effectively blank a draw spell from Zach. The problem is he doesn't have anything to back it up right now. So it's not really going to get him anywhere. I see that he's got a Mardu Warshrieker, so he can get that active easily here with no risk.
And he's got a free attack with his 2-3.
Right.
Which then, is that 2 Arrow Charms in his hand?
2 Arrow Storms, I believe
Arrow
so.
Storms?
Yeah.
And next to the Jeskai Charms. I mean, it's
right.
a lot of ability to deal a lot of damage.
That's a ton. 4-8-12, yeah. Is this a land here for Zach Hill? No. I believe that was a Pine Walker.
Warshrieker and nothing. It's not as exciting.
And nothing, yeah. I mean, he's building up. He still doesn't have an actual attack, though. So there's a Pine Walker coming down face down for Zach Hill. I believe he has a Glacial Stalker in his hand as well, and is that a second Pine Walker? Oh, you're nasty, Zach. 2 Pine Walkers? Can you double check that for me, Randy? That's pretty dreamy if he's got 2 of those. It's one of the better uncommons in the set.
Just 1.
Okay, just 1. So I don't know what that other card was. I think that's a Pine Walker that he put face down, but we'll see as the game goes forward. In the meantime, Vince Lanceford is going to just battle with both here. He does have the Jeskai Charm that he can use as a pump spell here as well.
Yeah, if Zach double blocks.
Yeah.
And Zach is going to double block in an effort to kill that Hill Giant.
Yeah, the Jeskai Charm is going to render a 2-for-1 here for Vince in a pretty convincing fashion, too, because he's going to get to put the morph back on top.
Which also reveals the morph.
Yeah, he also might want to kill the morph. People prioritize these in different ways. Like, morphs are scary, right? So
I would put the morph on top, get the information. The Tuskguard Captain can get out of control.
I agree.
Zach finally draws land and gets to start.
Jeskai Charm, and that was the Glacial Stalker. Okay, so that's on top of his library, and that's going to be a good old-fashioned 2-for-1 there for Vince Lanceford. He does not get in any damage with his Heartpiercer, and Zach is going to have to do a little riffly, shuffly, moving around. I mean, he could have other morphs, right? You don't want to just show him that you're just instantly replaying that.
Oh, of course, Zach is playing it completely correctly. I think you just play a different morph, right?
Probably. What was it? Did you see what that was, Randy? It was a red card off the top. Oh, it was Active Treason.
Wow.
This Monastery Flock is putting in a lot of work, but it might be overwhelmed here by the end of the game.
It's effectively removing a creature. It's interesting how in this format all the walls are the good cheap removal spells.
Yeah, I actually wrote about that in my column that I think things have transitioned for us now. You know, we don't have the cheap, efficient removal we did of a few years ago, and I think that one of the adjustments that people have made is to start playing cards like Monastery Flock more liberally. All right, Arc Lightning to finish off the Flock. And this is going to set up Vince really nicely moving forward here for that that Active Treason as well. Getting that Flock out of the way is a big game.
Still no 4th land.
Yeah, Zach just drew a Bear's Companion that he can't cast. And so he's going to have to settle for a second face-down morph here and ship the turn back. That was a Kirin, I believe, off the top for Vince, which is a great addition to the board here. He gets to just attack fairly freely. 2 morphs are going to double up on the Mardu Warshrieker, it looks like. And the second morph cast is going to be the one that dies, and that was a Woolly Loxodon. Zach's got to feel some relief there because that one wasn't going to get flipped up for a long time anyway. Assuming that the other one is a Glacial Stalker, which it is, you can flip that one up in a couple turns if he finds a land, and he doesn't.
Jeez.
I think it was a Grizzly, though, an Alpine Grizzly, which you can actually cast and block pretty effectively here. So the Kieran's going to start getting in, and that's going to be one of the main problems here for Zach. But now Zach's in an interesting spot. He's got a Force Away, and that loot, when you're stuck on this many lands, looks really nice.
Vince is not going to put him to the test by attacking with Hard Piercer?
He didn't let him, and the reason is because he wants to steal it next turn. He
Sure.
wants to borrow that bear.
Zach draws a land.
So Zach Hill fighting and scrapping to try to stay alive. He's up a game, though, in this match. So he does have a game to give in case he were to lose. Vince Lanceford looks like he's been crafting this game to set up a big active treason and then follow it up with arrow storms until his opponent's dead, and he's in a really good position to do that right now. And there's that land from Zach, who just has to pass a turn back, and there's that fifth land for Vince Lanceford that's going to unlock those 2 arrow storms in his hand down the line as well. You got to love Vince's position here. Zach just missed too many land drops. He has done a noble job, and we see the job that Morph does in this set of letting you still cast spells and do things even if
you just do 5 to the face here, hit with the Kieran, and then 5 you.
You could.
I think that's my line. I don't think active treason does anything.
Repeat next turn.
Yeah, now he's at.
Well, if he plays act and steals the bear, he's in a pretty sweet spot too. But
yeah,
I think
but
the quicker line is. Oh God!
Oh, never mind.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that seems even easier.
How about make a Sarkon? He's going to kill the bear here instead of just battling.
Yeah, I would have attacked for 4.
Yeah, I would too. But he does get to attack with the rest of his squad here.
Yeah, and the Planeswalker.
What is it going to do? Get attacked? Like, bring it on, right?
Sure.
Like if Zach wants to tap one of his creatures to kill Sarkon, I think that Vince is perfectly fine with that, especially given the whole active treason thing. So, yeah, the wall's kind of closing in on Zach Hill here as Vince has just way too many great finishing spells in his hand. I think his whole hand are finishing spells now.
Zach just took it?
You can double block.
Double block the Hard Piercer. That makes sense.
All right, Pine Walker down, but Zach's at 7. So unless, if Zach taps out here, he's dead. If he doesn't tap out here, he's probably dead anyway. He finds, I believe, a Bring Low that he can't cast. So I think he's going to force away.
Yeah.
Force away and then kill Sarkon, which is fine, except for that. Let's see, does it actually kill him? That's 4, 5, 6, or 1 plus 5, 6. So no, yeah. Zach actually gets to survive here, right? Because there's no way for Vince to get both raid and prowess when he wants them.
Right, but he can.
I mean,
he can active treason, attack. The active treason triggers the Jeskai student, so that's 4.
Yeah.
Put your opponent on 4 while you're holding. So he has 8 damage, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to kill him next turn either way.
Right.
Arrow Storm, target you. And that's going to set it up. So Zach has to either find a counterspell or something here. He's trying to shut the door as quickly as possible. He can block the student, but what he can't do is survive an Arrow Storm here without some type of counter. So Vince Lanceford is going for it. And I'm assuming he's going to take his obligatory draw step here and then just fire it off. I mean, Zach does have cancel and disdainful stroke mana available, but who cares?
Even if Zach had a cancel, the Jeskai student goes to 2/4.
Which can get
which can now attack through the morph. Yeah. All right, well, he's going to lead with active treason. I mean, all of these cards are effectively direct damage
they're
cards.
all the same thing anyway.
Here, attack. Yeah, get to see the morph. It's always fun.
Yeah. All right, and Vince Lanceford does take down Zach Hill in game 2. Zach makes sure to display his morphs prominently. Looking down the line, it looks like all of our matches are still underway in their second game here, besides that third one that we just watched. So why don't we jump back up to
Ooh, Jacob's down to
Lunen.
2.
Ooh,
Is that left
wow.
over from
He's
back?
supposed to be the beatdown.
Are those the life totals left over from the
No,
Zach Young
I
match?
think
So those
you're
are the
right.
new ones.
I think those are from the other match.
All right.
So we'll get those updated ASAP. And
It does look like Michael's the one with his creatures turned sideways.
he
though.
does. And
Oh, forcing a game 3 over there as well.
our curse continues, by the way. We've got a really nice timing on that. We'll jump back to our middle match here. Brad Nelson versus Brian Eason. Oh, just in time to see Soren die.
Killed by Narset? Oh, Dune
No.
Blast keeping...
Yeah, that's a Soothsayer
Oh,
there.
Soothsayer.
Uh-huh.
Dune Blast keeping Soothsayer attacking Soren.
Yep, so we
That
talked
looked
about
like
that in
quite a
game
good
1.
Dune Blast.
Yeah. Not too bad.
I'm guessing from the life totals that both players have had Abzan guides. Although maybe it's Soren doing the life gain work for Brad.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
are we-
Brian Eason's he's a darn good
delving
player.
here?
Going on a cruise.
Boat full of gold. Sign me up.
So lucky.
I'm not sure that was gold.
That was not gold.
That was Archer's Parapet. And
Couple of lands.
Couple of lands. That is not gold. Although it means he won't be drawing those over the course of the next 3 turns.
Right, he has dug deeper towards the gold. And was that the Dune Blast for Brad, I think?
Funny.
Oh, dead drop.
Wow.
How many lands does Brad have right now? Looks like 7. Maybe even 8.
So it's this interesting spot of like, how many lands do I want to tap in order to save fuel for future delve cards?
Yeah, or does he have a follow-up?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't have anything else to do this turn, then you tap all your mana. But it looks like he's decided to save 5 of it? Or no? Oh, that's 8 mana, so delve 2.
All right, so both creatures down now for Brian Eason. So a virtual 3-for-1 and then a 2-for-1 back at you.
It's a pretty
so
controversial card, Dead Drop. I'm not
very
sure I have
controversial.
seen a more divisive card in terms of, you know, top 25 ranked players, Pro Tour players just arguing,
I've seen it too.
just vehemently disagreeing. Where are you on Dead Drop?
I like it.
Do you like it like snap first pick, play everyone I can get my hands on like it?
No.
That's where Owen is.
Yeah.
Like the Pantheon guys, Owen in
He
particular,
loves
he's
it.
just like happily will play 2 with no enabling. Just the game will go for a while, and then I will kill all my opponent's creatures.
Yeah,
And if they're still
play
alive, I
one.
will kill them again.
I play 1 in that scenario.
Yeah, I drafted pretty high. I mean, I'll definitely play 2 of them.
I'd say on average I've picked 2 through 5. Like right in that top range. I probably first picked it once or something, just out of a pack I didn't like. It's a good card. It's very powerful. It has bad matchups. You do not get to cast it every time. That happens too.
I think some people overestimate how hard it is to cast it with no graveyard enabling. Sometimes you just have 10 mana.
You do.
Or you just play Magic for 7 turns, and then there's 3 or 4 cards in the
It
graveyard.
does happen.
And then it's a 6 mana spell. Right?
All right, looks like we've entered a race situation here where one person has a race car and the other one does not. The good news is it's a long road.
Yeah, Brad's life total just now dipped under 20.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of time to find something. I think he's got a throttle here before that Tuskard Captain gets out of control. But oh, Disdainful Stroke. So now he's got that out of his hand, and if that was the Dune Blast in hand for Brad Nelson, which I believe it was, I think he's going to try to get max value here. He's going to try to leverage some of that life total here. Oh, how about a high Sentinels of Arshan? That is going to do serious work. And you see how Brad threw that on the table? You know what that was? That was a I got you. Like Disdainful Stroke sitting prominently on top of your graveyard, and I will resolve what might be the best card in the set.
It's not even the best white flyer.
It might be.
I'd rather have
I know
Wingmate
pros
Rock.
who have it above.
Above Wingmate Rock?
Yes. And I can certainly see the argument for that too.
It is very, very good.
Yeah. Single white, affects your whole team. Whatever. I'm not going to argue against Wingmate Rock. But
Yeah,
this
I'll
card
happily
is
sign up for either one of those
fantastic.
cards.
Yeah. And Brad just resolved it, and he's quite happy about that. Now, it does need friends, right? Like, you can make it huge, but at 29 to 18, he's going to need to spread the love around a little here.
Or perhaps wipe all the creatures off of his opponent's side of the board.
Also an option in this case. Maybe he waits another turn.
Friend the Doom Blast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Brian's in danger of getting decked.
He's got 5 cards left. Maybe Brad just sits back. Like, can he kill him faster than that while engaging in a race? Probably not.
Does he need to?
That's what he has to decide. A lot of information for Brad. There's an exiled zone plus a graveyard that he gets to sift through.
Players who signed up for draft number 5. Please meet your judge at the side registration.
No reason to be aggressive with the high Sentinels, though, right?
Don't think so.
Just play defense, force your opponent to beat your high Sentinels.
And then you got the nice
Then you've
backup
still got
plan.
the Doom Blast.
Yeah.
He does have a Doom Blast in his hand, right? We're not
Think so.
imagining that part?
He's just going to pass a turn back.
Yeah, I like that play. No reason to attack when your offense at this point is your opponent's draw phase.
Double long shot squad now. And he's going to level up his other long shot squad here with a +1/+1 counter to try to set up a big attack. But unfortunately for him, Brad can activate his guy twice per turn now.
Yeah.
There it is.
Whoop.
Yeah, 3 for 1's
Kill
are
your
reasonable.
team, keep my 6/6 flyer.
Interesting to attack there. You don't actually have to. I guess it does close out the game slightly faster. But like if it gets kill shotted there, then you don't have any defense. Whatever. He's winning either way.
Could have like a Cranial Archive or something.
That's true. Playing around Cranial Archive. I like it. And here, this is going to be a Obzon guide, but it's also going to be a little too late.
Yeah.
Brad's pretty low on his library as well, but
Yeah.
3 cards left for his opponent. It looks like 6 for Brad, maybe 7. So that's not an issue. What is he going to do here? Bitter Revelation.
Ah,
Run it right in there.
gotta get the count right. Can I afford this?
And he said he decided that he could. No fear. Brad's at 16. And the shields, they are up.
Indeed.
Wow, what a crazy
Yeah.
game.
Brad just playing defense.
Yeah. He says, there's no way you can get me from 16 to 0 or deck me before you're going to get decked. And he's probably right. Also, that high Sentinels just gets to spew counters all over the board
Yeah.
here. So now what Brad's doing is trying to figure out how many lands are left in the library for Brian. He's like, well, one of them's probably a land. Problem is Brian still has, what, 4 cards in his hand, so those are unknowns. And Rite of the Serpent to kill the Obzon guide. And does Brad bother attacking is the question.
Probably.
Probably. It feels pretty low risk at this point. There was no kill shot the turn before. It's not going to happen now. If it does, it's not particularly a big deal. So attack for 10, 11, 12. Could make it 14 here if he puts one on the parapet. Could make it 14 if he puts one on the Bondkin also. 12. Looks like they're figuring everything out. He probably just needs to make this a 2-turn clock, right, Randy? Just one way or another, get in for at least 11. So 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is what he hit for there. And there's Rakshasa's secret. And he's got to mill away his last card. And that's going to do it. Brian Eason has to extend the hand there, and Brad Nelson's going to win his match 2-0.
Yeah, all Brad needs now is one of his teammates to win a game 3. Either one will do.
All right, why don't we jump over and see what Jacob Van Lunen's up to on his game. Got a few cards off the camera there. If we can have them slid down a little bit, we can see just that top part there.
Were you on Valley Dasher?
A little low on Valley Dasher these days.
Yeah?
It goes in the right deck okay. I never really like it that much, though.
I certainly agree that it only goes in the right kind of decks, but Jacob looks to me to have a solid Valley Dasher deck.
I agree.
I enjoy the decks that Valley Dasher is good in, I guess.
Yes, you do. I do not.
No. Heir of the Wild from Michael Kwan. All our favorite 2-drops.
Wow.
Facing
Everybody's
off.
here.
Valley Dasher just wants an invite to the party.
Don't worry, it's not an earthquake. We're just adjusting some things down in the feature match area. All right, that's better.
Valley Dasher still gets to attack. Has Michael just been stuck on 3 land this whole game?
Wow.
I mean, Jacob has a dig through time in his exile zone right now.
Oh my goodness.
He has 7 land. It looks like he's resolved a dig through time. And Michael's on 3 land. Jacob doesn't actually have a path through, though. Valley Dasher is running into the wall.
How in the world is Michael still alive here? I guess
Right.
just the beauty of morphs. Is that what we're looking at here?
Jacob must be a little flooded here.
He must be. All right, bring low the monastery flock.
Finishing it off.
By the way, that's the second time in this today that we've seen monastery flock get taken down by real removal spells. Like that card just gotta kill it. You want to jump over? Yeah, why don't we jump over to see what Zach Hill's up to? This one looks a little bit stalled out for the moment.
Edge Jacob, but yes.
Agree. And let's see what's happening over here. Zach's got a Highland game and a morph. He's facing down a Sarkon.
Vince Lanceford trying to send it all down to that last match with Sarkon.
Zach's got a...
Sarkon came down, looks like it probably killed that Tuskguard captain.
Yes.
Now it's attacking.
Now it's on battle mode.
Vince is down to 7, though.
Okay.
Zach clearly got some work in early.
But he has nothing. Zach trying to get some blood flow going to the brain there.
Also, leaving up all the scary mana to go with his morph. Although he's only got 2 colors.
Looks like he's flooding a little bit here.
Players, that is time in round 2. Active player, finish your turn, proceed to the additional 5 turns. As a reminder,
Sarkon ticks up.
if one team has won 2 matches, then your match is complete. There are no tiebreakers tied to match.
Boom! Monastery Flock yet again is going to soak up 4 damage from Sarkon this time. Ooh, Dragon Style Twins.
Wow.
Now things could get ugly for Zach Hill as Vince Lanceford has put up one of the scarier threats in the whole format. Zach seems to be drawing quite a few lands here, though. So you know how I was saying about the low power, 0 power, high toughness creatures and how they kind of act as removal sometimes? Dragon Style Twins does a pretty good job of just plowing right through those.
Yes.
All right, well there's a nice one though for Zach. He finds a Woolly Loxodon here. Looks like he was 1 mana short from being able to cast it as a morph and then flip it face up as a surprise. So he needed it this turn, so he just had to run it out there for the full price. Only 2 cards in hand though for Lanceford, and one of them freshly drawn. So, you know, Zach's going to be able to kind of work around it. All right, it looks like
just the Sarkon.
Just the Sarkon. Basically showing that Lanceford doesn't have anything to back up that Dragon Style Twins right now. He plays a Jeskai student, but that's not very great here. So see if Zach can find something sweet. He needs it.
Could have sent Master to the air there, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, does he have plans for those 4 mana during Zach's turn?
This is interesting. Look at this. Zach is going to start pressuring Sarkon here. He's attacking into a board of 5 creatures with his 6/7 Woolly Loxodon. Maybe an Awaken the Bear. It is interesting. If I'm in Zach's seat and I see that Vince did not send the Leaping Master into the air, I'm a little concerned.
Depends if he's done the same thing earlier.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We didn't see how the Leaping Master's been in play for a while.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, there's no good reason on board to leave the Leaping Master on defense.
So he's just going to chump block with the Jeskai student, though Zach doesn't look like he had the Awaken the Bear there. If he did, it would have been pretty good. He would have been able to kill Sarkon. And he's got a Morph and a Force Away, are the cards left for Zach.
It does not do anything with that leftover mana.
Well, we've seen that Zach is certainly willing to block with his Monastery Flock, so no reason to stop that here. And Vince is not attacking. Like he didn't attack there either. Is that the third?
War Shrieker.
And he's out of gas.
It's just a Hill Giant.
Zach's got a Mountain now in his hand. I don't know if he's got a red card either to morph or to cast with it. But it feels like if Zach attacks this turn, that Vince might be more likely to put multiple blockers in front. He once again passed on the Leaping Master in favor of just playing his 4-drop there. He's got a land in his hand. He could have done both. All right, I think we're going to see a morph turn face up maybe? What does Zach have here? If he's tapping mana now, he's not casting a creature unless he's planning on attacking.
Ice Feather Raven?
That's 5 mana though he's got. It was Ice Feather Raven. What was the other mana for? Did I miss something there?
I don't know.
He's paid 5 mana? No, anyway. He's bouncing and attacking. He's still got Force Away in his hand as well.
All the really powerful morphs cost 5 mana to flip, so Ice Feather Raven must cost 5 mana to flip.
Yeah.
Is that the logic?
That could be, unless there's something off screen that I missed. Anyway, he's got enough for the Force Away that's left in his hand. I guess that's what's important here. And he's just going to triple block. Ooh, what a blowout here. Zach gets to loot here too. He finds a spell. Does he discard that mountain with nothing to do with it anyway? Probably.
Looks like it.
What happened there? Oh, the
Ice Feather Raven
hit it? Okay, good. Wow, Zach is really hanging in there here. It looked like he was significantly behind when we came to the game, but he is just grinding here. And he just got a really nice play there.
Yeah, that was a great turn for Zach. Was able to use Force Away to kill 3 War Shriekers, essentially. I guess one's in his hand. Kill 2 War Shriekers and keep his Loxodon alive.
Yeah.
Was able to pressure Sarkon.
Wow.
I don't know how much extra time these guys have. I know that time has been called on the main round.
Just 1 minute.
They have 1 minute left, or they only had 1 minute?
They have 1
1 minute left in regulation time for these guys. Monastery Flock still holding off Sarkhan.
Once again, Zach Hill's going to block with the Flock.
War Shrieker, does he have anything to spend the mana on this time?
He does.
Oh, the Dragon Style Twins.
The Twins. He's also got an Arrow Storm in his hand here, but I think with Zach at 14, he's okay. What Zach needs to do is find some gasoline here. Oh, he has a Savage Punch in his hand, and I think he just drew a Glacial Stalker. So this could get really bad. With his opponent completely tapped out, he's just going to take down the Dragon Style Twins right now, and that's going to allow him to kill Sarkhan because his flyer now has 4 power. Wow.
Not bad.
And Zach Hill's actually going to start working on the life total of Vince. He's going to attack him with the Willie Loxodon. Now the Ice Feather Aven's going to kill Sarkhan because you just have to take that opportunity while your opponent's completely tapped out. Oh, and it looks like he didn't actually win that turn, but
Jake Lunen.
Jake
Mind
did,
swipe.
He mind swiped him.
Out of nowhere. Jake Van Lunen off the top rope with the mind swipe. That clinched the match. You saw Zach and Vince shake hands because with Jacob winning, they didn't have to finish.
I'm convinced that Zach was going to win
Zach
that
was winning.
game.
I agree.
Yeah.
He had time. I mean, there was a small chance he would run out of turns, but
yeah.